Hello everyone, the Klaus here, and today guys I'm going to do the second part of my review about the Bionicle playset, the Pyracast Stronghold released in version 6. So remember yesterday I reviewed all these elements, and today I'm going to review the two towers and the parts that link them together. So that said, let's move on to the first tower, if I can say so. So as you can see, it's made with first a big base plate in one mode with some nice effect of pen, so with some dark gray and touch of more light gray. So it's quite well because Lego is not used to do this type of stuff, but well, it's look nice at least. And it's make me think of the Mega Bloks Dragons base plate. So the plates are linked thanks to this light gray part, which have one pin, and one other part is some stud. So of course we're gonna link the plates on the studs. And well, for the rest it's quite simple. It's just some bricks linked together. You can see some pillar, some cylindrical pillars, you can see right there, and some more normal one on the back. Notice there's light gray hinges on the sides, which will be useful to attach the different parts together. You can also notice on the back there's other type of hinges which are useful to link those big black doors on the front. So of course we're gonna link some teeth and stuff like that on it, and of course they can be opened. Not full, but still at this point, and they reveal nothing because there is absolutely nothing inside, of course. Well, of course. And I think that's all for the rest. Well, some more pillar on the second step, but here it's quite interesting because you have two elements you have to notice. Is first this studless plate right here, which will be useful to link the door, if I can say so, and then this part right there, which will be which is not really a gimmick, but will be useful for the overall feeling gimmicks of this set. But you're gonna see why later on. First, I'm going to just link the doors. So on between these two pillars, as you can see, because I've got a space of one stud, and of course on this studless plate. Excuse me. So I'm going to link this type of doors. As you can see, it's well, pretty obvious how they are made. And notice the little red part, which is quite useful, in fact, to block the door, because of course here when I push this on the side, it is blocked by the teeth. But for now, when I push this on this side, it is not blocked by anything. And thanks to the red part and a plate, it will be blocked. It will be just doors will be blocked. So well, first I'm going just to add the Zamor, because the whole point of this Pyracast Stronghold, in fact, is that you see the process between the creation of the Zamor and when it's launched. So here it's the Zamor where the, well, it's quite complicated to explain, but it's where the substance for the Zamor is made. And that said, I'm going to add some more books here and show you the last floor, which is this one. So one plate and different parts which will come in handy later on. Notice this turntable part, which is quite useful. Oh yes, and first I actually forgotten something. It's this big dark blue pillars which will be linked right there, and which helps to bulky up the overall tower. And now I just have to link this part like that. And so, like I said, thanks to the plate, I have now linked the wet part here, which will block on the plate. It will be blocked on the plate, and that means it works. So that said, let's just add some other parts, and then the tower will be finished, because there is nothing really more in terms of gimmicks. It's all about little parts to add to the overall design. So first, there's big plates, there's big bricks, with of course curved and some nice shape, which will be linked right there. Then we're going to link some, excuse me, this type of Bionicle parts right there in the axle holes of this rounded bricks. The same goes for this one, but with different parts. And finally, another type of bionicle mold. This one's used behind this part on the brick with some pins directly molded into it. And well, it's not the final part, because the final part is the part that will be linked on this brick with axle hole. It's this Brutaka mask in gold, which is the only gold part, in fact, of the set. So it's quite weird. And here we go, the tower is finished. Well, at least the first tower. So I'm going to do a little taller one, but there was nothing really to explain. The only gimmicks of this part for now is the two doors which can be opened and closed. So that's quite, that's not really something really impressive. But well, you will see how it will be when it's completed. For now, let's move on to the second tower, which is this one. So once again, we're gonna have the same big base plate and stuff like that, the same type of parts used, bricks. You can notice that on the side it's look quite ugly because you got like 3 different colors all mixed together, so it's not really that great. We can see the back of the tower, which do not have anything inside, so quite like the first tower. And for the west, well, you're gonna have once again some doors, but with a different design, as you can see, which is a nice design with once again the little teeth and the little fence used as a little element of design. And this time they can open full. They can be fully opened. But apart from that, that's all. So once again, another door. Then move on to the second floor, which is a little more interesting. So you're gonna see the light gray part, which will be useful to link the parts together, and also this part, which I do not have put off. So you can see we have this type of magnified glasses, and do not have the correct name for that. And then on the back, you see that this part is linked to this bricks. Well, it's linked to an axle, then there's brick with axle hole, and then it's linked to a connector plus bolt joint, and the bolt joint is the one from this Ordic Annex. Of course, it's linked to another axle, which is linked to another part like that, and it's all the parts are linked, well, they are all well attached. And well, now we just have to add one more part. It's this light up brick, as you can see. So the switch is here. You just have to press this button, and then it's light up. And so we're going to link this part like that. And now, excuse me, thanks to the glass right here, when I will put it on, as you can see, I will have a special shape right there, which was not the case if I do not have the glass spot on it in front of the light up brick. So it works just fine, and it's really a nice gimmick. So well, and that's all for the second floor. The rest is just pillars, and well, excuse me, that's all. The last floor, well, it's once again full of parts which will come in handy later on. You can notice the connector right here, which will be useful to link the last and the third Zamor launcher of this set. This time it's come with a magazine for the to add some more Zamors. And for the rest, well, that's all. So I'm going now to link some other bionicle parts. First, right there. And then this part here. And that's all for the second tower, guys. That's all it's made. So once again, some doors, but this time with a little more exciting gimmick with the light up brick, which works just fine. And now it's time to complete, to assemble, to attach all the parts of this set together. So first, I'm going to attach this part. Excuse me. This part, as you can see, which is made with some bricks with pinholes, and as you can see, we're gonna have this part with a yellow gear right there, which will come in handy later on, and also 2 parallel axle and then hose pipes. And well, it will come in handy, in fact, because I'm going now to link this part. Excuse me, you have to make them quite parallel. So this part, I'm going to link it on the turn plate the plates which can be turned. And then these two hose pipe will be linked right there on this axle and this light gray lightsaber. So I'm going to link the hose pipe, and then the two parts are linked together, and then I'm able to move the Zamors from this tower to the other one thanks to the little yellow gear. And here we go. So you can see I can now move on the Zamor from one point to another one, and of course you can put the rest of the Zamors on the back, and well, you just have to move the gear to make them go on those pipes, and then move on all the way to the second tower. So really a nice gimmick, and of course it's a part of the process of the Zamor which is created on this tower, then move up here, then transfer to the second tower thanks to the hose pipe, then put on the magazine, and then fired at some enemies like the tower Inikas. And then the second part I'm going to use to link the towers and elements together is this type of skeleton parts, which can be compared to some spins, I guess. So made with some bricks, with some Technic bricks, and this type of part, this type of arm part, or tentacle part, here used as some bones. So I'm going to link the parts like that, thanks to the light gray hinged I talked about earlier. And then I'm going to link a second one, which is the same except for this part, and it's made like that because thanks to this Technic beam, we're going to be able to link this part to the Piraka's big head. And now the model itself is quite complete. I just have to add all the other elements I have reviewed yesterday. So ta-da! So first, I'm going to link the gate. So like I said, you're supposed to move this the way you want to close the stronghold. So I'm going to go like that. Yeah, seems okay. And then I'm going to link all the other little accessories and stuff like the cart with the Wai, the speeder Wai with Yuki, then the Zamor launcher turret, Kongu Inika on his surf, and then I'm going to link all the other characters, and that will be all for this review, guys. So if I want to sum up, so first let's talk about the minifigs. So like I said yesterday, they are really great. You got like 12 of them. That's not nothing. So it's well 12 highly articulated minifigs. It's really great. The only problems is that of course the legs cannot be turned in independent position, and that some of the weapons do not look like really cool, or do not look like weapon. By the way, so that's the only problem. But apart from that, you really get a great range of minifigs because well, you got all the 6 Inikas and all the 6 Piraka. So really nice. And it's as detailed as the previous playset minifigs, which were not articulated, so that's really great. Then let's move on to the playset itself. So first, maybe first the accessories. So like I said, they are not perfect. Some of them are quite useful, but I think they could have been improved. A little more details on the speeder would have been nice. A little more details on the walls would have been nice also. So that's it. Nice little accessories, but could have been done better in my opinion. And then the playset itself. So like I said, in terms of parts, in terms of color scheme, I think it's quite cool because you got really nice part of dark blue, so it's mostly pillars and this big head, but I think it's really look cool with all the usual dark gray and black colors and also the silver parts. So really nice in terms of color scheme to have some dark blue. Oh, and here comes the last fig. And then in terms of part selection, well, it's mostly big pillars and this type of parts, but still you got some interesting part except the Bionicle recolored part. You got this big one, you got all the doors part right here, which can be quite useful. So in terms of part selection, I think there is nice parts, some basic pieces, and some other unusual parts like the gates and stuff like that. So quite a nice part of nice section of parts, in my opinion. In terms of construction, it's quite simple, I have to admit. And then, well, overall, I have to admit that it's quite a different playset than the Battle of Metroid playset, which was also the biggest playset but of 2005, whereas the Battle of Metroid was really a blocky playset, a big wall in your face and stuff like that. Here, it's not the same case, it's a different approach to a big playset, as you can see, because here the elements are not all linked together in a blocky and in a blocky fashion. Here it's more like they're attached but with just this type of part, it's just some towers here and there. So it's a different approach to a big playset, and overall I think it's good. So it will maybe not please everyone, but I think it works quite nice because you got some nice gimmicks, even if most of them resolve around the Zamor fabrication process. But apart from that, you still have the teeth or the lights and stuff like that. So in terms of playability, well, you got 12 things, different gimmicks, it's pretty great. And I'm not going to do a long sum up because I know that people might not like it. So overall, I think that's already a nice take on a big playset. It's different from the Battle of Metroid, so it might not please everyone, but I think that it's worth it. So just maybe some part could have been done a little better. It would have been nice also to have some nice inside this time, because once again the inside are totally empty. There is no little details or stuff like that except on these floors. So yeah, could have been a little improved, but I think it's a nice take on the big playset, different than the Battle of Metroid playset, but still a good one. So well, that's my opinion. I think you have one. So if you have any comments or questions about this playset, well, feel free to ask them. I will answer them. And that's all, guys. So hope you enjoyed this review, and see you later for another video review. Bye bye.